Zhu Ruifeng is the name of the blogger behind the anti-corruption website Supervision by the People. Now, the former journalist has hit the headlines recently with his release of videos exposing a number of Chongqing local government officials in compromising situations with young women. According to state media, the women were hired by a property developer to seduce the men and secretly film them having sex. Now, the tapes were then used to blackmail officials who granted generous property deals to the developer. When one of these officials, Lei Jiangfu, went to the police, they arrested the developer and the gang that helped him, detained the women and confiscated the tapes. The officials, however, were left alone. Then Zhu managed to get hold of copies of the videos, he says from a source within the Chongqing police, and uploaded one to the internet. This starred the very Lei Jiangfu who appealed to the police in the first place, and he was promptly sacked. Now, state media has reported that 10 more Chongqing officials have been fired for allegedly appearing in similar videos. But this week, Zhu said he's come under pressure from Chongqing police to hand over his evidence. Now, he says police questioned him for 7 hours on Monday and said he could be liable for prosecution if he didn't surrender the tapes. However, Zhu says he refused to do so to protect his source. So, what have China's net users got to say about another case in a city already notorious for scandals involving sex, crime and political shenanigans? To get an idea, let's cross over to the newsroom now and our researcher, Julia Liu. Hi, Julia. So, first of all, it seems that this scandal has had people all over China watching it avidly, perhaps for obvious reasons, since it broke earlier this month. So, what sort of reaction are you seeing online?
Well, cases involving corrupt officials are always hot topics online, let alone ones with the added bonus of having seedy sex videos involved. Well, a few names are being mentioned again and again in relation to this whole affair. So maybe if I go through a few of those, it will give you a taste of what net users are saying. Zhu and Lei, of course, get plenty of mentions, and comments like, it's so delightful to see officials like Lei punished, or we hope more whistleblowers like Zhu appear in the future, are basically everywhere on the internet. And the official Xinhua news agency posted a Weibo post which comments, it's good news to see such officials being sacked and a criminal group being arrested. But we should also remember there's no smoke without fire. There shouldn't have been any Lei Jiangfu in the first place if officials behaved themselves and the supervision departments really did their duty. But besides the whistleblower Zhu and the official Lei, another name that pops up a lot is Zhao Hongxia, the woman who appeared in the sex video with Lei. Well, she was allegedly the mistress of Xiao Ye, the developer who masterminded the scheme and manipulated Zhao into seducing the officials and taping them. Now Zhao is being touted as some sort of a national hero by net users in an ironic way. In fact, if you search for Zhao Hongxia on Weibo.com, you find all kinds of titles like anti-corruption hero or cause to release her our hero. But there are also some net users who take it more seriously. Liu Yuxiang says on Sohu.com, she didn't do all this out of a sense of righteousness, but for money. It's a shame seeing people calling for a hero rather than a criminal suspect.
Okay, now how about this pressure that police, apparently Chongqing police, appear to be putting on Zhu Ruifeng? Has there been much comment on that?
Well, sure. Zhu has become quite a celebrity since he released the video of Lei. But the fact that he has upset powerful people had many net users been worrying about his safety. Well, this comment is pretty typical on Weibo.com. I admire Zhu's courage and sense of righteousness so much, but I'm also very concerned about Zhu's safety. Hopefully, he can get good protection. And these concerns have risen since news of the Chongqing police visiting Zhu at his home in Beijing. Actually, Zhu has been updating his movements on his microblog ever since last weekend. And every post draws literally tens of thousands of retweets and comments. And many question the police's behavior as Zhu described it. Well, he said that late on Sunday night, they banged on his door, yelling at him to let them in. Well, this is what a poster from QQ.com has to say. It's confusing that police from Chongqing came such a long distance to Beijing to get hold of this whistleblower. And it's even more confusing how they behaved. It would be more understandable if they contacted Zhu beforehand and let him decide when and where to meet. And this poster, Tanshan Daoshi, is more direct with this comment. The visit by the Chongqing police has nothing to do with fighting corruption. It's about getting rid of the evidence and identifying the source that gave Zhu the information. And meanwhile, many net users wonder why Zhu chose to only release one video and keep others in hand, which Zhu himself explained by saying the timing was not right yet. Well, this poster says on rednet.com, who feels it has to do with the way China works and that Zhu is holding on to them as a safety guarantee. He has this to say. Well, a whistleblower keeping back some of the evidence in hand might seem incredible in countries with a more developed democratic and legal system. Well, it might be a special phenomenon that exists in China, and is also a warning to the government to perform under the watch of the public.
Okay, last question, Julia. It seems that sex scandals amongst governments or party officials seem to be on the rise, or at least sackings for those reasons are reported more in the media. What do net users have to say about this?
Yes, you're right. And actually, there are figures to support this. Well, this trend of online exposure scandals have boomed recently. And among these scandals, sex scandals play a big part. Well, according to a survey by Beihang University, among more than 50 scandals involving corrupt officials exposed on the internet in 2011, well, sex scandals came in number 1, with embezzling public funds and taking bribes coming after as number 2 and number 3. As for the effect, net users feel the sensational aspect means these cases catch the public attention and tend to result in quick results. Oh, this post on Sina.com explains. Besides the Chongqing case, we also had an official with 4 wives and 10 kids, and a police chief with twin sisters as mistresses. While the similarities are that all these cases were leaked on the internet and grabbed people's attention quickly with the sensationalized pictures and topics. And the resulting sacking of the officials were obviously very quick too. But there are also some more worried net users, as this poster says on rednet.com. Well, this phenomenon to some degree reflects how poorly the routine anti-corruption measures work, and relying on these sex scandals as proof of success in fighting corruption may result in people paying less attention to other reports of corrupt officials, which is definitely not a good thing. And finally, Zhu Ruifeng himself made a similar point when interviewed by the Shenzhen Special Zone Daily. I found this to be a highly effective way to attack corruption, but it's actually absurd itself. It's rather like a circus on the internet, and I don't think it's a long-term solution to solve the problem.
Okay, thanks, Julia. And that was China Take researcher Julia Liu with online reaction to the ongoing affair of whistleblower Zhu Ruifeng and his incriminating videos, which have already brought down a dozen Chinese officials in the city of Chongqing. Next here on China Take, some of the top trending phrases on China's most popular search engines. Let's see what's got Chinese net users curious these days.